refused to stall and refused to brake, once again. Mopar's bulletproof 225 Slant Six was the engine that refused to die. In the harsh places where V8s overheated and small blocks spun bearings, this crooked block survivor just kept running. When Mopar unveiled the 225 Slant Six, most people didn't know what to make of it. The block leaned 30 degrees to the right, looked more like an engineering accident than a flagship power plant. But that odd tilt wasn't a gimmick. It actually lowered the center of gravity, freed up room for longer intake runners, and delivered a smoother fuel charge than many straight-up competitors could manage. In a decade obsessed with horsepower bragging rights, the Slant Six didn't bother chasing numbers. It chased survival. Farm trucks, taxis, delivery fleets, and daily beaters discovered quickly that this bent block 6 didn't stall, didn't overheat easily, and didn't complain when pushed past its limits. Mopar wasn't trying to build the fastest engine of the era. They were trying to build the one that would still be running long after the shiny new muscle cars were junkyard metal. The 225 proved them right, one impossible mile at a time. But its internal engineering hid an even bigger truth. It's important to note that Mopar didn't stumble into durability with the 225 Slant Six. They engineered it from the first casting. The block wasn't just thick, it was fortress-grade iron, with cylinder walls so dense you could almost hear machinists swear they'd break tools before they'd break through. Beneath it, the overside main bearing surfaces spread load like a bridge designed for tanks, not commuters. And that long crank throw wasn't about revs. It was about leverage. It let the engine push trucks, taxis, and delivery vans with effortless low-end grunt, all while keeping internal stress unusually low. Mopar knew fleets didn't care about quarter-mile times. They cared about engines that wouldn't spin bearings, crack journals, or overheat in midsummer traffic. So the bottom end got built like it was preparing for a 300,000-mile punishment tour. That's why even today, tear-down veterans say the same thing. You don't wear out a Slant Six, you surrender first. But the real magic came from its breathing strategy. Funnily, the 225 Slant Six's 30-degree tilt was an accidental masterstroke. Lowering the engine allowed Mopar to drop the hood line, improving aerodynamics and giving mechanics easier access to the carburetor without dismantling the intake. That tilt also lengthened the intake runners naturally, helping the engine breathe more efficiently while spreading airflow evenly across all 6 cylinders. But the real payoff was thermal. Coolant flowed more smoothly through the tilted block, reducing hot spots that plague upright engines under load. Every cylinder enjoyed more uniform temperature, which drastically reduced warping and head gasket failures over decades of service. The so-called crooked layout also shifted stresses slightly off-center, meaning the block and head endured strain more gracefully. What was meant for packaging advantages accidentally amplified reliability beyond most contemporaries. The Slant Six wasn't just surviving, it was thriving in ways no upright inline 6 could match. And that torque curve made even trucks unstoppable beasts. Now, at the heart of the 225 Slant Six's endurance was its simple but genius log intake manifold. Unlike high-strung performance setups, the long single-runner design delivered fuel and air evenly to all cylinders, forgiving mistakes and tolerances other engines couldn't survive. Carburetors didn't need perfect synchronization. Worn parts or bad gasoline barely phased it. Vacuum leaks, slightly off timing, or a neglected choke system wouldn't keep it from starting or pulling hard. This made the engine ideal for farmers, fleet operators, and work trucks that demanded reliability over precision. Even when abused, the combustion chamber's shape promoted complete burning, reducing hotspots and preventing detonation. The Slant Six didn't just tolerate neglect, but it thrived on it. Low compression ratios combined with that forgiving intake gave a wide power band and a retained torque, even in adverse conditions. Mechanics called it fit for war and earned the reputation of being nearly impossible to kill. mile after mile, year after year. And that durability let it endure endless abuse easily. The Mopar 225 Slant 6 also did more than just survive the controlled environment of a factory test. It thrived where chaos ruled. Taxi fleets saw it running double shifts for years, while mail trucks lumbered across icy roads with engines that would make lesser motors seize. Farmers abused it hauling hay and plowing fields, and the construction rigs ran through dirt, mud, and dust without complaint. Desert heat baked its cast iron block. Frozen winters tested its fluid, yet it kept turning over. Even decades-long neglect was routine. Routine maintenance was a courtesy, not a requirement. Mechanics marveled as worn pistons, stretched timing chains, and burnt valves failed to stop it. Unlike fragile high-performance motors, the Slant Six's overbuilt bottom end and forgiving fuel delivery absorbed punishment without drama. Every scrape, tow, or overload reinforced its legend. Real-world abuse became its proving ground, and with every mile of service, the engine's reputation grew. Bulletproof, stubborn, and endlessly dependable. Even extreme abuse couldn't break its legendary iron heart. The Mopar 225 Slant 6 wasn't designed to thrill, yet hot rodders and marine enthusiasts discovered its hidden potential. Drag racers strapped bigger carbs and mild cams, exploiting its long stroke torque and stout bottom end to pull surprisingly fast launches. Clifford and other specialty shops experimented with six-pack setups, carefully matched intake manifolds, and higher compression, unlocking power the factory never imagined. Even turbo and supercharger experiments were feasible thanks to the block's thick walls and overbuilt crank. Marine versions ran at high RPMs for hours on end, proof that sustained stress wouldn't crack its integrity. Enthusiasts learned that the Slant 6 could handle abuse with a grin. Long strokes meant instant torque, and its cast iron construction tolerated heat spikes. The engine's forgiving valve train and cooling layout allowed performance mods without catastrophic risk. By quietly defying expectations, the Slant 6 became a sleeper hero, a workhorse on the street, a sleeper on the strip, and a legend in every garage that dared to push it further. Yet even modest upgrades revealed its hidden unstoppable strength. Even decades after its heyday, the Mopar 225 Slant 6 refuses to be forgotten. Mechanics praise its bulletproof bottom end, simple push rod valve train, and effortless torque that comes without drama. Restorers dig through barns, auctions, and forgotten fleet vehicles just to bring these crooked block wonders back to life. Its 30-degree tilt, once considered odd, now inspires engineers studying airflow, intake geometry, and cooling efficiency. Modern low displacement work engines borrow its principles: long stroke durability, oversized bearings, and simplicity designed to survive neglect. Hot rodders still fit Clifford six-packs, modern EFI conversions, or mild turbo setups, and the engine takes it without complaint. The Slant 6's legacy isn't about raw power, it's about the confidence it gives its owners. Start it in January cold, tow a trailer in July heat, and trust it to run decades later. In a world chasing fleeting horsepower numbers, the 225 reminds builders that true greatness lies in indestructible engineering. If you got your hands on one, would you dare to push a Slant 6 to its absolute limits? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.